Hi! In this video, we'll try to help you understand disability and universal design through a model which we call the gap model. The purpose of this small video is to make you, as a student, aware of that disability is always related to context and how you can think universally when it comes to addressing your difficulties. On the graphic behind me, you can see an illustration of what we call the gap model. As a student, you probably have experienced that your diagnosis and documentation is most important, and that everything is related to a diagnosis. According to your different context, you might experience that your individual capabilities and the demands created by the physical and social environment does not match. When there is a gap between your capabilities and the demands from the environment, we can say there is a disability. In other situations, regardless of diagnosis, you will not have disability according to the task at hand. As an individual, you might have an impairment and functional limitation, but the disability occurs only when there is a gap and always related to context. I can use myself as an example. When I was a student, one of my last exams was finishing my master's degree was a 10-hour written exam. Yes, a 10-hour written exam. And believe it or not, the computer was invented and I had written nothing by hand other than Merry Christmas to my mom for the last 2 years. So, after 1 hour, I had cramps in my hand and the rest of the exam was a painful exercise. I was not trained for this. According to the demands from the environment, I suddenly had a disability. How can this be related to your context and to understand universal design for learning? The idea of the gap model is both to change the demands from the environment and to strengthen you as an individual. This can be done in different ways, related to both what key people in your learning environment can do to change the demands, but also how both you and your support services can give you better options to solve the task. As you can see in the graphic, if you add something on both sides, your disability can be minimized. The gap, it disappears. Okay, let's add some relevant context to this graphic and see how it works. Let's work on a traditional lecture, which might be difficult to attend for some of you. In a traditional lecture, some students might have difficulties in taking full advantage of it, and the learning outcome decreases. If, for instance, have dyslexia, taking notes and listening to the lecture is hard to combine. Challenges are also related to students with difficulties of hearing what the lecturer says. Actually, that goes for a lot of students. Or if you are blind or partially sighted. Other challenges might occur in a lecture hall. Let's see some examples of how changing the demands from the environment can influence the learning outcome from you as a student. If someone in your support system asks a lecturer to share notes after a lecture, it's not necessary for students to take notes. Then you can read them afterwards and just concentrate on understanding the content. This is actually good for all students, as you can see, the gap is diminishing. What if the lecturer gives out the manuscript in an accessible format in advance to all students? Well, this is definitely good for all students. And as you can see, the chances of having a disability in this context is even smaller. Most important, you also have an opportunity to prepare yourself for an even better learning outcome. Being well prepared gives you an excellent opportunity to ask questions, to test out technical aids and accessibility. It demands something from you as a student, but as you can see, the gap is smaller than ever before. The best and most universal way of having a good learning outcome of a lecture is to combine all these efforts, both changing the demands in the environment through universally designed solutions, which means they represent a better quality for all students, and that you, as a student, have the opportunity to be prepared, use technical, individual, and educational needs. To sum this up, let's see what happens if you add this all together. First, share lecture notes and presentations in advance. Use microphone. Use technology to let students ask questions. Use a video recording of the lectures. Use flexible and varied pedagogical methods. Remember, you also have to contribute to close the disability gap. You cannot rely only on the environment to change. Do your part. Prepare for lecture. Investigate central concepts and terms. Update yourself about learning goals and competence standards. Ask your students support for technical aids. Perhaps also, if the traditional lecture is changed to move to more student active learning and the multiple ways of getting material presented, it's a game changer. This is the most universal way to learn, flexible and varied learning, but still demands something from you as a student. Do your part and let your supporters and teachers know of other methods. They are good for all, not just for you. This is just an example. What will work for you will change due to your challenges and the context. Some might have difficulties in reading printed text, some have challenges in a written exam, and others in an oral presentation. Remember, there are always possibilities. Thank you very much for listening.